Good morning to all of you. Now, maybe in another 3 minutes, we'll be starting this international webinar, How to Turn Engineers to Entrepreneurs. This program is jointly hosted by VSSC ISRO, Kerala Startup Mission, and Baselios Institute of Technology and Science, MBITS, Kothamangalam. And on the first day today, we have eminent speakers. Dr. KPJ Reddy sir is the patron and chief guest for the day. And the profile of all the speakers will be read out shortly. And it will be inaugurated by Mr. CJ George, the Managing Director and Promoter of Georgette Financial Services Limited, India, followed by the keynote speaker and the panel lead, Dr. S. Somanath, Distinguished Scientist and Director of VSSC ISRO. On tomorrow, we have the chief guest and keynote speaker, Mr. Santosh Kurup, CEO ICT Academy of Kerala, followed by the keynote speaker, Mr. John Matthew, co-founder and CEO of Riafi Technologies, and the panel lead, Professor KPJ Kumar, NIT Warangal. And on the third day, we have the chief guest and keynote speaker, Dr. Saji Gopinath, CEO Kerala Startup Mission, the director, IIITM Kerala, followed by the keynote speaker, Ms. Shruti Gaddam, the senior program manager from Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge, Telangana. Along with us, the panel lead, Dr. V. Barla, alumnus of NIT Warangal and IMA Ahmedabad. Currently, is the professor and director of Center for Applied Research, Hyderabad. Myself, Dr. P. Sojan, the principal of MBITS Kothamangalam. And we have the coordinators, Mr. Mahesh KM and Mr. Jinder Matthew, assistant professors from our department. The great thing this time we can see that our program will be completely managed by our students, and we can start this program now very shortly. I request, I think the recordings and everything is already over. And now we'll start the session. Now we can see 341 participants are already joined. Let's not waste the time. Over to our team members for starting the proceedings. Yes, Anupoli, please start. Good morning, Venkat Bala, sir. Yes, we'll make you host. Sir, I can see you, sir. Yes, Anu.
Okay. We will start this function with a silent prayer. All the participants are requested to sit in their respective seats and pray silently. Thank you all. Good morning. I warmly welcome everyone of you to the very first day of our international webinar on how to turn engineers into entrepreneurs, organized by IEDC, MBITS and COVID-19 cell of Baselios Institute of Technology and Science, MBITS, Kothamangalam, Kerala, India, in association with VSSC, ISRO and Kerala Startup Mission. The webinar will be conducted in the course of 3 days. Let me invite Dr. P. Sojan, Principal of Baselios Institute of Technology and Science, Kothamangalam, Kerala, India, and panel member and moderator of this international webinar to welcome the gathering. Over to Sojan, sir.
Good morning to all the panel members, the dignitaries, participants. A very warm good morning to all of you. Once again, MBITS, along with our all other partners, very happy to announce that today we are starting our 11th international webinar, and the current one international webinar on how to turn engineers to entrepreneurs is jointly being hosted by ISRO, Trivandrum, Kerala Startup Mission and MBITS Engineering College. Today we have the eminent speakers, Dr. KPJ Reddy sir, Mr. CJ George and Dr. S. Somanath. So all the panel members, Dr. Barla sir is already joined, and we also have other panel members also shortly may be joining on today's session also. And we are extremely thankful for the IEDC cell, the students for organizing this such a great event, and thank you very much for all of you. And also, we are extremely thankful for all the panel members, Dr. KPJ Reddy sir, Somanath sir, CJ George sir, Barle sir, and all our distinguished speakers and chief guests, which are going to follow on tomorrow, Mr. Santosh Kurup, Mr. John Matthew, Professor K.V. Jayakumar, Dr. Saji Gopinath, Ms. Shruti Gaddam, and all our respected participants. A very warm welcome to today's program. And we'll start the program, and I hand over to Anu Poli for introducing our patron and chief guest, Dr. KPJ Reddy sir.
Thank you, sir. Let me invite our patron and our chief guest, Dr. KPJ Reddy. Dr. KPJ Reddy has received master's degree from Mysore University in 1975 and PhD degree from Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra in 1981. He joined the Department of Aerospace Engineering in 1981. Since then, he has held many positions, and currently he is holding the post of Senior Professor along with the Chair Professorship. He has published more than 300 technical papers in international journals and a dozen patents. He has organized many international conferences and workshops. He is also a member of International Advisory Board for many reputed international conferences. He served as editor-in-chief of International Journal of Hypersonics and a member of editorial boards for Shockwave Journals, Journal of IISc, and Journal of Engineering Physics and Thermophysics. Dr. KPJ Reddy is founder, president of Society for Shockwave Research India, and also president of International Shockwave Institute, Nagoya, Japan. He recently received honor diploma from Minsk International Forum on Heat and Mass Transfer, Minsk, Belarus, and IIC Alumni Award for Excellence in Engineering Research in 2010. He held Professor Satish Dhawan, ISRO Chair Professorship, and HAL Chair and Professor of the Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, Pune. He recently received Lifetime Achievement Award from Bangalore Management Association. He retired from IISc in July 2018. Let me also add that we have honored him by naming one of our auditoriums by his name in our college. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
So I can take off. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the kind introduction. It's a bit embarrassing to listen to these things, but it's inevitable, I suppose. So today, I think I've been given about 25 minutes to talk about. Instead of saying how to go about building a company or anything, I always felt it is to talk about what makes a person to become an entrepreneur rather than what is it he's going to do and all that thing. So especially now we are talking to engineering graduates, please remember it is the mindset which will make you into an entrepreneur. It is nothing else. So just to tell you, the point is anybody can get trained if they don't have a by instinct, by observing and kind of a learning. So engineering is a field where it will enable you to do whatever the ideas you have. It is a tool which will make you to implement what you are doing. Therefore, what you have to acquire, any engineer, for example, or for that matter, any entrepreneur, he has to get that culture of entrepreneurship. This I am talking from my experience. So I began with a theoretical physics background. So I was there till my middle age or even little more as a theoretical physicist, writing long equations and publishing big papers. Then I realized what is the use of this to the country. This is the thought process you please observe. You should question this. What am I doing? What has it got relevance to what the country needs or my neighbor needs, all these things. So therefore, point one I want you to note is your reactions to the surroundings is what makes you an inventor or a kind of an entrepreneur. How do I support this? I realize that, for example, India may need hypersonics in the field, which will take us to go to Mars, Moon, where Somanath and such great people are doing the job. But you need to have fundamental foundations on this. That's when I threw away all my theory and I went into sort of a experimental side in 1999. And I didn't know anything in engineering. I really even today don't know what is a lathe, what is a milling machine and all. But I can design things because I had that urge to do it. Today, we have built the biggest hypersonics lab in the world. I think we are the leaders if you look at the Google and all that. The point I am trying to make is, please make your decisions so that I am driven by a purpose. This is the way entrepreneurship got built up in me. My reaction towards the surroundings. Just to give the example, I used to see my mother-in-law. She used to do a lot of trouble to extract juice from the apples and cure this Karela, bitter gourd, so that bitterness is taken out. I said, this lady is suffering and I should do something. That's when I invented a simple method. You take this Karela, put it into water, then put a damn shockwave into it. The juice will come out. In one fraction of a second, it will happen. So that became a kind of a patent. Now it is moving into commercial arena. Similarly, I used to see, my grandmother used to crush the vegetables rather, the garlic and the onion and all. So her sambar always used to taste better than my mother's. So I used to wonder, what's this thing going on here? So then I realized this hammering will produce something in the vegetable. Believe me, that is the basis from my childhood observation for inventing application of shock waves into tea industry. Today, my machines, which are built by my company, are working, one in Valparai, one in Gudlur near the Nilgiri Hills, manufacturing about 60,000 kilograms of tea with a shockwave treatment. Simply what you do, what my grandmother did, I am doing it to the tea leaves, hammer it, beat it up. Then that leaf will produce a chemical to withstand the pain it endures. So that chemical is polyphenol, that's antioxidant. And now that tea is selling at 35 rupees a kg more than the normal tea. So the point I am trying to make to youngsters is, please try to react to the surroundings. That will make you to invent things. Those inventions are the basis for your becoming an entrepreneur. Then I remember I had no sense of finance, not that I have today. Then I realized, let's do one thing. Let me learn this. So there is a town, the marketplace called Tarukpet in Bangalore. It is the happening place for whole Karnataka state. All the food grains and all the things will go from there. So I had few friends, childhood friends having shops. So Saturday IAC used to close at 12 o'clock. I used to go there, sit there with one friend. I used to invest in dry fruit, cardamom, pepper, whatever little money. I traded there along with my friends. Believe me, in about 1 year, I understood how the money works. Okay. So entrepreneurs should pick up all these things. You have to sit. Then most important thing for entrepreneur, especially engineer, remember, you have to deal with people. Without people, you can become nobody. So I learned how to handle people going into my village again. In the village, there are panchayats, you will have panchayat. There are two, especially in our area, there is a factionism there. So there used to be one group, killing the other fellow's group, and they will come to panchayat. Dealing with them is a really phenomenal education. So now I understood how to handle the people. So these are the ingredients you need to pick up while you are studying in engineering. In addition, what you do, anything you are learning at your engineering, please apply it to something. Most of 99% of our engineering is really theoretical engineering. None of us are taught what to do with what you're learning. We go and try to learn on the job. By then you have lost 4 years. Therefore, what you need to do is from day one when you attended the class, let's say electrical engineer has gone, he should at least learn how to change a fuse in his house and how to change the tube light. This is your electrical thing, I say. Apply it what you are learning, which is never done by our engineering people, for that matter, any educated people. Therefore, what I would like to tell the boys, sir, don't go about high funda theories. Be a simple man, but be a practical man. Then you can do wonders with your ideas. And what is taught at your level, the graduation level, is phenomenal knowledge. How many generations of inventors have invented such things has been told to you by the engineer, by your teachers. Now the problem lies with us that we are just learning and remembering questions and answers. Then if you want to become an entrepreneur, you should make sure that is used for some purpose. Then inventions will come. Believe me, all my inventions have come up like this. I have about 30 patents or so. Today, one of the best thing I would quote is when I went to my village one day, it's about 6 years ago, I saw my cousin was depressed. I said, what's the problem with you? He said his borewell has dried up. Then his 3 acres banana is dead. So I came back. I realized what is the use of my shockwave knowledge to my people. So next day, I located a bone dry borewell inside the IISc campus and took a long shock tube or in a truck and connected the shock tube to the mouth of the borewell and blasted it. Believe me, the water started coming out. After 4 shots, I fired the shock waves into the borewell. Can you imagine? This is simple. And where did it go? I built I designed everything on a truck. I thought I'll make millions out of this. Every borewell, dry borewell, I can pick it up. Then I realized if I do implement this, then all the groundwater will be sucked out and our grandchildren will have not a drop of water to drink. Therefore, I abandoned this. Point I am trying to make, when you become entrepreneur, always keep your mind on its effect on the future, effect on the environment. That's your social responsibility. Okay. Then to cut the story short, that application, we didn't leave it. And we went and applied it to ONGC oil wells, which was, kind of signed an agreement in front of the Prime Minister. He came to IISc exclusively. We signed an agreement with ONGC. That's a classic picture if you look at in Google. So Prime Minister is standing, I'm sitting and signing with the ONGC guys. So that became a huge work, which was about 70 crore rupees work. Today, I am proud to say that India is the only country which has the tools which can frack, below the ground at 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers, and bring up the shale gas, which is there in Indian territory so much for next 300 years, it can power our country. For that, the tool needed, we have already built. So this is because I cared about my cousin's borewell. So this is the point I am repeatedly telling, react to the surroundings and sufferings of people and apply your knowledge and bring out a solution to it. That is your invention. Similarly, I really enjoyed learning and doing shockwaves after I moved into the research, hypersonics. Then I was wondering, how do I teach this to the, students, like undergrad students? There is no way because it's so expensive, high pressure. People won't allow you to use it in the laboratories. So therefore, any knowledge on shockwaves worldwide is only theory. So that's when I just took a, syringe, medical syringe, converted that into a shock tube. And that's the world record of human being producing a shockwave straight away with his own energy. And that I named it as a Reddy tube explicitly to tell the world it is an Indian invention. So today it is being taught all over the world and Reddy tube is selling well. By the way, that's the entrepreneurship part of it. We just started a company. Now I have ReadyTube and Ready Tunnel selling. And now you can do hypersonic research with it. By hand, you are operating it. And you can do shockwave research. And now this ReadyTube is built by Nook and Corner Engineering College kids. They are doing research. Somebody is cleaning this oil spillage somewhere. Somebody has created the protein molecules which supported the life on Earth. That is sensational news going around the world. So this ReadyTube in Trivandrum, there is, other Chitra Tirunal medical sciences people, they're using ReadyTube for surgery, brain surgery. They're trying it out. And ReadyTube is being used to cure the diseases and everything. And it took five rupees to invent this. Basically, what I am trying to tell the young engineers, look around, observe, and say, with my knowledge, what my teacher taught me yesterday, can I tackle this problem? Apply the knowledge. This will make you entrepreneur. The moment you have it, then the next thing is how to convince the second party to believe in your idea and make him to buy it. That is where your knowledge about the finances will come into picture. And I believe if you start thinking like that from day one, believe me, by the third year, you should have your own company. Don't wait for your graduation. Just start your industry and any idea you try to sell. And that is what inventions are made like this and taken them into becoming money. Believe me, I realized all this when I became 60. I said, hey, I'm retiring. I'm going out as a retired teacher. Then I took a oath. I will never leave my profession until I have 100 crore rupees in my bank account. Believe me, this is my resolution I made when I turned 60. And now I think I am seeing the possibilities of that 100 crores out of my entrepreneurship activities. Not that I need that 100 crores, it will go into some other things. So the point I am trying to make you guys, to you, especially engineers, please apply. Engineering is application of the knowledge, what you learn. Without that, you are wasting your time, sir. It is time that your generation asks, what am I doing to the country, rather than I have studied, it is the responsibility of the country to take care of us. That was my generation, because we didn't have this wherewithal. For us, job was the only thing. Now is the time you say, I've studied in such a fantastic course. With this, let me create wealth so that the other people can get employed. This should be the driver for every engineer. And when you retire, by then you should be employing at least 3 people by the time you become an engineer. Keep these goals. These are really doable. Believe me, these are doable. And it is always, there are infinite number of opportunities sitting in there. Just use them and become an entrepreneur. If you are stuck anywhere, just give me a call. I'll say, not that, I am going to give you a solution. I can always, tell you, hey, why don't you try this? This is where I feel there are, when I see, like, for example, what people are doing in ISRO, we really watch that. Anything and everything, there is an opening there for an entrepreneur to chip in and do something for that mission, provided you have attitude to do that. Okay. So therefore, open your eyes, look at the surroundings, and then solve those problems. Those are your inventions which will fetch money. Every invention of mine has become that way. There are so many, my American patents. In fact, believe me, during this COVID time, this lockdown time, we ran into financial problems, as everybody did. And you cannot believe we started 3 new companies in this time. And one company is going so strong that just about a month, not about maybe 15 days ago, we have put a name to that company. Already international brand has come into that. And there are people talking now, buying this, maybe 1 lakh units of one of the things what we have done. And one fellow in South Africa, he has come forward to distribute that. So this is what I am trying to say. When there is really a challenge to you, then the inventions will come into picture. Today, in fact, we started another company to invent the artificial liver. So we have already done all the basic work for last 3 years, but now with the work, we started a company, fresh company, just about maybe 1 month old. These are all during the lockdown time. So one thing you must take home from today's talk, anytime you are in a tight corner, the best results will come out if you have the attitude towards that. Keep your mind open, your, all the senses open, then the opportunities will spring out. How much time I have left, Sojan Lal?
Go ahead, sir, please.
Pardon?
Kindly go ahead, sir.
You can take another 10 minutes.
Okay, let me narrate one instance to you. Now that Somanath is the next speaker, I want to connect to his talk. My lifetime experience. This was when I was in 6th standard. There was a small river in my village. There is still there, which doesn't look like river anymore. All the sand has been robbed. This river was in flood. But on the other side of the river, my pump house was getting flooded. So I had to reach there and, switch off something. So I tried to cross this river and I was swept away with this huge rainwater coming in rivers. So I thought that was the end of the day. So downstream, maybe about 100 meters or so, then there were 2 rocks, spiking out of this river. So in the middle of the rock, I was, swept. Then suddenly, after going up, I had given up almost. Then suddenly the flow started coming back and brought me back to the backside of the river, the stone, big stone. So that day, it made me to think. Then after the river, slowed down and everything, I went back and studied. Then I saw there is a reverse flow there. This is what really kept me going. So when I came into aerodynamics, fluid mechanics, I wrote equations and equations trying to see the reverse flow behind this obstacle. And this keep in mind, it was an experience which I felt it as a kid. This is the one which really kept going. A lot of work we did on that and applied it to even hypersonic regime. So when Somanath and party was doing SRE experiments, the reverse flow became the challenge for that SRE 2007. And the flow coming back and hitting at supersonic speed to the base of the SRE capsule would take the heat, transfer rate so high, then you need to, the design complications came into picture. Believe me, what helped me was my river incident. And I built this equipment, the shock tunnel to do that, and the data came out. That's all part of the history. What I'm trying to tell you guys is, any adversary situation should really make you to think and try to find solutions to it, or digest it so that you can apply to some other situations. This is the fundamental thread through which the inventions are made. Otherwise, no invention happens just like that. They have to be founded at some base level. I am sure Madam Curie, she must have seen cancer sufferers as a child. Maybe she lost a mother or father or uncle. She must have taken an oath as a child, I have tried to do something. This is where I always say, observe, sir. If you are from a village, when you go back over to the village, look at your surrounding nature differently because you heard from me. So watch, what is this? I tell the children, you don't need to be a genius to do that. We have a mango tree in front of the house. Most of the farmers have that. So this mango tree is so bulky. The damn fellow is doing only 150 fruits. He's lazy. He should be giving me at least 500 fruits. So your goal, because you're learning biology, you're learning so many things, soil sciences, now go and see if you can induce that tree to give another 10%, 20%, 50% extra fruit. This, you don't need to be a PhD in that. Sir, by management, by, nutrition supply, you can make what your father was taking 150 fruits, you can make it 300. This is the way research has to be inculcated in your mindset. Surroundings. The last point I would like to share is, I used to watch, we had chicken at home. I am from village. By accident, I came to science. Otherwise, I would have been happy as a politician or a leader of the village, but it happened. So I used to watch when there are certain chicks, and when they grow up, they were very aggressive and they used to give more eggs compared to others. Then I studied this. I understood when this chicken was a baby, if let's say eagle comes and picks it up and by chance it drops and that survives, that fellow is the one which would be ferocious and it would give so many more eggs than the normal chicken, and also it would resist all the diseases. So then onwards, as a child, I used to have all my chicks spread out in the open with a catapult I had made my own. And when the eagle swoops in and tries to pick it up, I'll beat it up. So I used to pick up these chicks. Believe me, I was the leader of growing these, chickens there. My chicken tasted better. It was healthier. And none of its chicks was allowed to be picked up by the eagle because this mother was ferocious mother. So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Observe, please observe and implement things what you have observed. If there is a problem, solve it. Okay, I used to see in the village so many people with a amputated leg because of this diabetic wounds. So now we have a machine which is a simple laser-based, shockwave-based thing. Just expose this wound to these shockwaves. The wound gets healed. No medication is needed. So diabetic wound healing is the one thing which we are going to start into the market. On and on I can go. I used to see the cow being impregnated with a bull in the village. I used to say it was barbaric. That's where I invented Super Bull. If you get a chance, read this. This artificial insemination gun using Reddy tube, you just make that gun such a way. It is the 20% extra efficient than the existing gun in the country. What it means is it translates, if you use my gun, it is Super Bull, it can increase the income of the Indian farmers per day by 500 crore rupees. That is what the estimation is. That means in a year, farmers will directly earn without spending extra money 1,80,000 crores. That means the farmers need not ask Modi ji to give a concessions or some dole. They can donate to Modi ji. Okay, this is the empowerment you can do, but with your knowledge. Now the central government is, evaluating and trying to implement that. So I can go on and on. Every one of my inventions, right, going into Mars and looking at the origin of life, everything is rooted at my childhood observations, believe me. This is the thing which entrepreneur, if he wants to really succeed, should develop instincts. Look around, assimilate the data, solve the problems, and inventions will flow, sir. They just come, sir. So many things, if you look at the publications, so many things, sir. Now we have a technology to push our Agni missile by another 2,000 kilometers extra by drag reduction technologies. That in turn may put a fear into our enemies. So this is the thing. This I noticed it as a childhood. So I am trying to insist again and again, please look at your surroundings. When you are seeing your mother cooking, see if you can simplify it. Can you reduce the risk there? So look, this risk in the kitchen, the fire taking place, really made us to think. And you cannot believe we just started a program, and this company is called Lifeline. It will be registered in about 15 days later. It is an Indo-American company, international. Our target is to reach $1 billion in 2 years' time. This is the thing, sir. Observe, sir. Observe, sir. Observe. And invent the things. We are using nanomist, and that is where our aerodynamics come into the picture. The moment there is a fire, this mist will take it out, and it is a nanoparticle size of the water which will take out the fire more efficiently than anything else. So this is the technology invented by one of our colleagues who was a old student of IISc. He is #1 in the fire extinguishing in the world. He is in Atlanta. We have made agreements, and in about a month's time at the most, this company comes into existence. This happened because I saw the accidents taking place. We had a severe accident at one time in our lab. So convert all your hurdles into the invention or your observations into invention, then only engineer will become an entrepreneur. Otherwise, don't stick to a book and say, it is written here, I will try to take it there. No, sir, you have to invent. And that should be rooted from your natural bearings. Okay, so cultivate this, then your, kind of Indianness is embedded into it, and then it will be so unique, no other country can take it. Okay, and wealth will just flow out, sir. You can do, and you can solve the problems. I can go on and on. If I have 2 minutes, I would like to give you the latest what I have introduced. If you look at India, India has about 25 million acres of drip irrigation. And this drip irrigation is the one which saves, earth from extinction because the water is conserved there. It was invented by a friend of mine in Israel. But there is a problem, these drip pipes, there will be holes emitting water, dripping the water. They get clogged up because of some salt depositions. And I was looking at it, India is solving this problem by putting acid into it. So when I look at it when I went to village, every acre they spend about 50 liters of hydrochloric acid to clean these tubes once in 6 months. So that 50 liters goes into the land. So imagine at this rate, your 25 million acres of land in about 10-15 years becomes deserts. You are looking at the disaster of the country. So I immediately came back. 1 week, me and my colleagues, we sat together, converted Reddy tube into a system, which is a simple system. Today, no acid, nothing, sir. Just blast it into the tube, that drip tube, all the holes will clear up, just the air blast. Okay. Now I am launching that into the market. Hopefully, I'll save the country, save the lands. So with these few words, I would like to tell the youth, please look around and don't think that by doing these marks, I'll get this job where I'll get 50 lakh rupees a year salary. That's the silliest thing to do. Go and generate the wealth, give the opportunity and jobs to your friends. That should be the spirit. With these words, thank you for listening. Thanks to the organizers for giving me this opportunity.
And thank you so much, sir. And I'm sure that we need to have a separate day for this. And as you clearly stated that your invention started from the home itself by looking at your mother-in-law and mother. And again, the practical of the engineering and your 30 patents, how it's been converted in the practical real life. Even in COVID, this pandemic, how you made the opportunities. That's really fascinating to all these, our younger generation, and 3 new companies you listed about, and your expectations are so high. And also, let me take one word that, as you told me personally before, that you started from a farmer's family. And again, as a normal student, you in the colleges and all. So now this is really amazing profile, sir. Every Indian can proud of you. And that's how, to all the audience, we say that at MBITS Engineering College, we have only 2 seminar halls. One is named as Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, sir, and Dr. KPJ Reddy, sir. We named it, both of them, and including this Abdul Kalam sir was live. So again, with a very great ambitions, a long way to go. And with all on behalf of all the participants, once again, thank you, sir. And over to Anupoli for introducing our next speaker, Mr. CJ George, sir.
Thanks a lot. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
The second Abdul Kalam, sir, is KPJ Reddy, sir.
Wow! Don't bring down Abdul Kalam's stature, sir.
He said second. The next Abdul Kalam, sir, is KPJ Reddy, sir.
So he was great.
God bless
Thanks.
you. You give more and more to the country. You have done so much for the country. God bless you 100 years and more to bless this country, people like you, and contribute enormously to the India's world fame. Thank you, sir. We are
Oh,
happy
thanks
to.
a lot.
Thank you, sir. We are all honored to be that you are here with us, sir.
It's
Thanks a
wonderful.
lot.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So carry on. So I will be listening to it in case,
Yeah, we'll take the questions after completing other two more speakers. Yes,
Yes, sir. I will be here. Okay. Yeah, please proceed.
Mr. C.J. George, a financial services industry entrepreneur, is founder and managing director of George Financial Services Limited. Mr. George has a master's degree in commerce and is certified financial planner from Financial Planning Standards Board, India. His directorships other than in George Group companies include VGOT Industries Limited, SJDM Healthcare and Kerala Infrastructure Fund Management Limited. Mr. George has memberships in many professional bodies and is at present the managing committee member of the Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India, New Delhi, the advisory committee member of Indian Clearing Corporation Limited, and a member of the syndicate of Cochin University of Science and Technology. Geodit was started in a converted garage with 4 people in 1987 as a partnership firm at Cochin. Then the other partner's stake was acquired and became sole proprietorship after 5 years. Then, when the capital was required, took equity participation from Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation and took the company public in 1994. In 2007, one of the largest global banks, BNP Paribas, took 33% stake in the company. The company has 450 offices across the country and Middle East with 2,500 employees and 45,000 shareholders. Over to Mr. C.G. Joseph, please.
I think you can introduce our next speaker, Dr. Somanath sir, and Somanath sir will take over. We have little technical difficulty in connecting with George sir, and please introduce Dr. Somanath sir.
Okay, sir.
Meanwhile,
Thank
we'll
you.
settle this. Continue with introducing Dr. Somanath sir, please.
Yeah, I think it's ready. They can go ahead.
Let me introduce and welcome our second keynote speaker, Dr. S. Somanath, an eminent Indian aerospace engineer and rocket technologist. He is a distinguished scientist serving as the director of VSSC, ISRO since 22nd January 2018. He also served as the director of LPSC ISRO Thiruvananthapuram for 2.5 years. Dr. Somanath is a gold medalist from IISc Bangalore for his meritorious performance. He has numerous other awards and honors, including Space Gold Medal, Best Aeronautical Society of India in 2003, and ISRO Performance Excellence Award in 2015. Dr. Somanath has 8 publications in leading journals and international conferences. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Dr. Reddy, Professor Bala, Dr. Sojan Lal, Mr. Varghese, who is here to join, and all other panel members, distinguished invitees, and participants. It's a privilege to be part of this international webinar on how to turn engineers to entrepreneurs. After listening to Dr. KPJ Reddy's talk, now I am sure all of you would have been really inspired to take on a career which is really going to be not an employee's career, an employer's career, to be an entrepreneur and then make others your employees. I have a set of slides to show you because I belong to the space technology area. I have been working in ISRO for quite a long time. So I would like to link my talk with some connections to space technology and space enterprises, and what are the opportunities for engineers to look at entrepreneurial activities linking to space technology. So that's what I thought that today I will speak. So I would like to share my slides today, and maybe I am enabled to do so. Okay. I hope my slides are visible, right?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
The most important thing I would like to tell you engineers is to realize what is going to be the new India. Maybe by 2030, I just took that year 2030 as a typical year to tell you about the change this country is going to see in the coming years and what are the challenges that engineers are going to see and face. First and foremost, our country is really a vast country. The population is quite large, 130 crores, and this is likely to increase to something like 150 crores, and maybe it will stabilize there. Its GDP is going to grow much bigger than what it's today. Its annual budget is also going to increase substantially. I only shown one class of exports, for example, agriculture exports alone, is also going to increase substantially. And we are blessed with various things. One is that we have technology leadership in this country, and we have great trained manpower, very young workforce, and big market and a lot of opportunities that is available for business. And coming to engineers, what we see is almost 15 lakhs, maybe more engineers are graduated every year, and much less are really getting employed. If you are really looking for an employment after graduation, then we realize the fact that very less percentages are really getting properly employed in jobs where engineers do really support the job. So that is one critical area that you need to be aware of. But don't forget the fact that the country is going to grow in various sectors in big way, and the opportunities for engineers itself is going to grow. But still, with a large number of engineers coming out of colleges, this is a big challenge. Now look at India. What will be the new India, and what are the elements of the new India? The first and foremost, it is one of the biggest economy, and 75% of the GDP is from urban, and the digital economy itself is very substantial percentage, like 18 to 23%. It's a very big number as far as the country is concerned, and almost 75% of its consumer spending is from the middle class, and people are slowly moving to higher income groups, and the mobility of this is also causing growth in business across the country, and much of the buying is really going into making it our lives better, and more convergence is happening between urban and rural India, and better access of various technologies, it's also increasing this. So, and digital economy, a digital influenced consumption is increasing, and various technology enabled business models are coming up. So what I am not going to read all this, but I want to tell you, as far as this country is concerned, various changes that are taking place are really moving us to a consumer centric, a consumption centric nation, which actually spurs money is being spent in the market, and also the opportunity for business also increasing. So it's going to be a very big playground for innovation, for consumer business. It's not only for this country, and once you have the ability in this country, it is really going to become global and will become more pronounced as far as the world is concerned. So there is a new country emerging. So that is really going to be very good news for all of you. But what is not going to be that good news is about the changing and the technology front. For example, things like sorry, the things like Internet 4.0 and Industry 4.0, IoT, etc. And this type of things really going to bring in new domain into the way we work, engineers work, and the type of jobs market that are going to be there. For example, look at scenarios like automated robots that are going to happen, the industrial IoT, areas like cyber security, cloud-based services, additive manufacturing. I think many of you may be aware of such things, big data analysis, augmented reality, and many places there is going to be intelligent manufacturing processes, where interconnected systems and modules, their data information exchange happening between one device to another and machines, and the whole of us is going to be in an Internet of Things or interconnected web of things. So once this happens, our job environment is changing. So this is something which I want to tell you next. For example, the jobs scenario in this nation, in fact, in the whole of the world is also going to change substantially, and large number of people who are currently being employed in various sectors are going to become jobless. For example, I'll tell you one of the classes of example is going to be for doctors. So when you look at doctors are going to become jobless. When you ask me, yes, it is so, because the artificial intelligence that is coming in is actually helping people to do consultations, and the medical diagnostic tools which are available are able to detect diseases much better than any doctor can actually measure based on your physical parameters or your testing, etc., which takes much longer time. Now, slowly in the COVID area, at times that you would have also resorted to online consultations. You are only talking to somebody who is sitting some far away and he is making diagnostics. And slowly this faraway sitting person is no longer going to be a doctor, it is going to be a supercomputer. And you are able to connect to that. It will have very previous data, and it will also pick up new information from your body and other tests which is done using new devices, and will be able to understand and diagnose you much better than a real doctor. So doctors are going to lose jobs in big numbers. But really, I am not telling that all of them are going to lose job, because still there are skills which require to be driven by doctors. Look at lawyers. They are also going to lose job, because using artificial intelligence and the ability to understand the legal, connotations and also the historical data, computers are going to be able to write bail applications far better than a lawyer really can write. And slowly lawyers are going to lose job. They will be only sometimes presenting it in the courts. And I am sure courts also need to change into online mode, in which the lawyer need not be the real lawyer. It can also be a computer terminal doing the job of a lawyer. Why not? So many of the jobs of that nature, even look at the job nature of a driver, is also going to change, because autonomous cars are coming. I think drivers' jobs will be something that you will never have. Probably you will also wouldn't ever have to learn driving, for example, because your children may not ever learn, take a license for driving, because the cars know how to drive and you need to get in and then only program it. So this is going to be the scenario in the new changing environment. But also new types of jobs will also emerge. And it says that areas like artificial intelligence, robotics, and blockchain are going to be the future jobs. And also at the same time, there will also be non-technical jobs like customer services, sales, marketing, skill development. You probably, many of you would have already seen the emergence of the online teaching, knowledge imparting tools, and even the life of a teacher is also changing substantially in these changing times. So all these are really the changing scenario, and it creeps into you slowly, but it's really going to make a big impact, I'm sure. Look at the government startup programs. For example, there are at least 50 plus programs that the government is looking at in tackling this type of changes and issues, and how not only engineers and many of our younger people are enabled to take up jobs, not jobs, but take into entrepreneurships, start up activities, and really start small businesses. So I am not going to go into each of these details, because it is all available to you in the web. And it is also the government's wish that new startups and technology and innovation come into India to transform India. And there are a lot of programs government is putting up, like Make in India, Startup India, Stand Up India, Digital India. All these programs are really going to help all of you. Please go through these type of programs and familiarize. It doesn't mean that immediately you will have a solution sitting there, but these are government sponsored programs, and there are opportunities for you to look at it and then derive some support out of it if you really find it essential at certain point of time that you need to go into some startups, and these supports are necessary. I will tell you some of the examples of such people who took support from this and really made it up. And there are many programs, so please go through this and then familiarize yourself. So I am not going to go into details of each of them. Also, please read some of the stories. I think you heard a stories of told by Dr. Reddy. it's also important that to be inspired by some of these engineers who have turned into entrepreneurs. And all these stories are also available to you in the public domain, like Sachin Bensal, Bhavish Agarwal, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, Dipinder Goyal, Richa Kar. All of them are really inspiring stories of starting it in small level, slowly growing into businesses that really jive with the times. I think this is the whole point. And they are able to find out business of different nature. They are not really engineering businesses, but in a way, the skill of an engineer is hidden in the plan. For example, you look at some of the bigger business models that is existing today. The biggest auto, for example, transport fleet operator doesn't own even a single car. Even the biggest hotel chain doesn't have a hotel room for themselves. It's not owned today. So some of the food chain which you are talking about, they don't have hotels of their own. So the technology enabled models have changed the entrepreneur scenario. And these are the models by which business is created, money is created in the system. So please be aware of these type of models. I am not telling that you all need to go into the typical business models of this nature, but there are possibilities existing. Let us also look at some of the startups that happened in space sector. Now, talking about startups, there are almost 10,000 startups in India last year. Almost 1,900 started last year, worth of almost $55 billion. In the space area itself, I am familiar with at least 3 of the startups who are working in launch vehicle design. Can you believe that in India, other than ISRO, there are 3 companies who they are not small players. They have gathered enough money and resources to design and build their own rocket engines and rockets themselves. And many others have really started on satellites and applications. So, in fact, I'll talk about the story of Bellatrix. This is a small company which is incubated in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, where the boy once he was just thinking about how to start a business or enterprise in space area. He came and met me when I was director of LPSC, and he was so passionate to describe about his idea of making electric thrusters and use water as a propellant and using microwave as an energy source to propel and then produce thrust to use it as a satellite thruster in spacecrafts. In fact, within LPSC, I funded him as a seed money of almost 2 crores, and he developed the thruster and he showed the prototype to us. And today he has already set up a laboratory in Indian Institute of Science, and he is trying to do much more things. Similarly, I have been discussing with the people like Agnikul, who is also incubated in one of the IITs, and they are trying to develop 3D printed rocket engines. And then they are now talking to ISRO, why don't you test our engine? I think these are the ideas, and they have almost collected 50-60 people, engineers, and designing these different rocket parts. And they also got seed money from big industries. They are willing to support them to keep the idea get into fruition. So another important thing in the space enterprise area is the change that the government announced in the recent times. Probably all of you are aware about InSpace as a new organization under Department of Space. So there is an organization called ISRO, which is doing the design of the rockets and satellites and National Space Mission. This new organization called InSpace is just announced by government. It is yet to be formally formed with all its organizational structure to support the private enterprises working in space technology. And all those industries who are willing to start new or already existing can contact this new organization to seek support. What type of supports they are going to give? They are not going to give jobs from ISRO. Instead, they will enable them to develop new systems. And in case that you need a high capital intensive facility, you don't have to do it. You can come to ISRO, use the facility in ISRO, test them or use it to develop these new capabilities and then launch it to the world market. You can build a rocket, you can build a satellite, you can develop applications, and you do remote sensing data policy related applications. So many industries, almost 50 startups have come up in various parts of this country to take up space sector business and to encourage them and to make them into big to make the Indian space enterprises a bigger chunk of our world business, this move has come up from the government of India. So as young engineers, please look at opportunities which is going to be there in this area. And I can tell you there are areas similarly in Department of Electronics, Department of Science and Technology, for example, in biotechnology area, various sectors, similar move by the government is there, and you are welcome to go through each of them, to familiarize with each of them. And this must be an important element in college itself, especially in the 3rd and 4th year. You must learn what are the things happening so as to equip yourself with the opportunities. In India, in space technology area also, ISRO has been leading this activity for a very long years. We have developed so many technologies within our organization, and they are available to these new entrepreneurs to take on and develop products and market themselves. And we offer these technologies to them at very low cost. Many of the chemicals, materials, processes, instruments, etc. are available. I'm not going to go because it is all available in the ISRO site. If you really want to understand which are the technologies which are available as spin-offs and which can be licensed for you to produce, and some outcome of this production can be purchased by ISRO for its own need, or sometimes it will be could be purchased by the new emerging space sector people also. So we have all these facilities that is enabling new entrepreneurs to take on and develop, or also existing business people to take on and develop into products that can be offered to the world. Now, some of the points which Dr. KPJ Reddy said, maybe I will also would like to tell you, because it is important to become an innovator. As he said, you heard from Dr. Reddy about the ability for you to observe and understand and then create something of your own. But I want to tell you that starting a business or become an entrepreneur need not have to be necessarily from your own innovative idea. This is very important because all of you cannot be the original innovators, but still you can produce a design as an element, but also you can understand somebody's innovation, improve upon it, or you can improve upon a process and create some business out of it. For example, the businesses of Ola or the businesses of Uber are not really a new creativity, but it is rather an idea of using the technology of IT to enable this to happen. So there are business opportunities in various areas. You don't have to always invent something. Please don't be scared to say that unless I invent something new, I can't start a new business. It is not necessary all the time. But what is very important is to be a keen observer, because once you are an observer, only that you are able to see the secrets, and also should learn a skill to really listen attentively. You have to be creative in any way. Even if you want a business leader, want to understand others, you have to develop multidisciplinary skills and approaches. You have to learn new skills in a continuous basis. And every day in your life, you have to make that incremental changes in various areas. Your life, your study, your interface with people. You must fill yourself with a lot of enthusiasm, because you are living at the best of the times in the human history. If you compare the times that we people were young in colleges, you are given an opportunity today to learn any new area. For example, if I wanted to study about artificial intelligence, if it was available at that time, there was no internet like this where I can download materials or undertake courses of my interest and learn new skills. In fact, I was so passionate about electronics when I joined engineering, but I got only mechanical engineering at that time. But then I continued to learn electronics even at that time with great difficulty. But today, you just imagine that you are an electronics engineer and you want to study chemical engineering. It is such an easy process today. Any new skills that you wanted to gather, you can gather at this point of time. So you are living at the best of the times. So you need to fill yourself with enthusiasm to study new areas. And you also should find out joy in doing what you do. So once you do this, you really will become an innovator. So being an innovator in not only in identifying new products and systems, but also in improving whatever that you are doing, even present, will also lead to great enterprises. So I want to conclude my talk in telling you that engineers are better equipped compared to various other sector people from other areas, because they are best suited to become entrepreneurs, because you have the right skills. So when you are in student level itself, you start to think about business. I think this attitude is something that is not residing in the minds. As already been told, it's a mindset that is controlling us. We want to become job seekers, and jobs are going to be much different. I told you the situation is going to be very grim. As a job seeker, you are not likely to become, get the jobs of an engineer, because you may end up like bank officers or clerks of that nature if you really don't put the right type of interest and effort. You should also learn to collaborate with friends and associates. It is very, very important. And even in college level itself, you have to explore the possibility of initiating a startup. Start on something, you find out friends, and then your early learning process will start in the college. And sometimes you may see it as a failure, but really it is going to be an eye-opener for you to how to incubate something and then work. And there are a lot of opportunities available. Use support given by government and institutions. In fact, I am also working with a startup incubating center in Trivandrum, which is really affiliated to the College of Engineering Trivandrum, and we have a park called the Trivandrum College of Engineering Technology Initiation Park, called the Trust Park, where we help people to incubate new industries or enterprises with the support of the faculty of the College of Engineering Trivandrum. And students and researchers can come and then start new enterprises and do consultancy work. So it's a startup ecosystem development agency funded by the government of Kerala. So such facilities are there throughout. I am sure it will be there at other many institutions also. So please seek help from such organizations to develop your ideas. And engineers to entrepreneurs is a very natural progression. So you don't think that you are built to become a servant of somebody. You are other person that you can serve the country. So take it as a motto, as already been told, and wish you all the best. Thank you so much. So my presentation is over. So over to Sojan Lal.
Sir, actually I was trying to connect with doctors. Mr. CJ George sir also in between, but there was a little bit of technical trouble for connecting, and it was a really amazing presentation, sir. You started with all these details, given the opportunities at various levels, and also you mentioned about what the ISRO can do for the younger generation. And again, sir, once again, you are a real role model for all of us, starting with a very humble beginning. From the school days, went to IAC, prestigious alumni of IAC, and again, you are leading with the ISRO in a very profound way. And we are very glad, and thank you very much on behalf of all the audience and participants. And now, because of the technical issues with Mr. CJ George, we are rescheduling his program for tomorrow's sessions. And now we will go for online question answering sessions. So requesting the participants, please raise your hands if you have any questions, or you can also put it into your chat box, either in the Facebook Live or in this Zoom. And in between, over to Venkat Barla sir for your observations and any few comments before the time, till the time our participants get on ready with the questions and other things. Over to Dr. Venkat Barla sir, who is alumnus of NIT Warangal and IIM Ahmedabad. He's having 22 years of experience in the industry and more than 15 years into the academia, and is a guru of myself for my Doctor of Business Administration program. Sir, we are very privileged to have you here, sir. Your observations, sir, Dr. Venkat Barla, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for those kind words. And today I am so much illuminated with the wonderful talk of KPJ Reddy sir, who talked about the entrepreneurship, how he has emerged as India's greatest, one of the greatest entrepreneurs. It's very inspiring. In fact, we in rural areas, I'm also from rural areas, we think that we cannot be entrepreneurs. The first mindset itself is that I cannot be an entrepreneur. I have to study, get some marks, and
Oh,
get
excuse me, sir. Somanath sir, you can close the PowerPoint presentation, sir.
I
Venkat
closed.
Barla, sir. Over to you, sir.
No, I closed already. You can-
Okay.
So what happens generally is that we in rural areas, I'm also from rural area, we think that we cannot be entrepreneurs. But KPJ Reddy sir's illuminating pointers have been an eye opener to me and also to many of the audiences, I'm sure, that yes, rural area people can also become entrepreneurs, provided you observe things around, starting from your kitchen, as you mentioned, you question things around, you respond to the questions, to the situations around, so that the results will inspire you, will kick you up so that you become an entrepreneur. Now, the most of the people, another stumbling block is the financial resources. Now, why I could not become an entrepreneur myself when I studied engineering, I had all the opportunity, was that my thing was that, okay, let me go to IIM, I got a seat, let me get a good job and be done with that. Because of the lack of financial resources, what a person who could have become an entrepreneur has landed up in a job. And having done the job, iterated the jobs and then retired. So an opportunity lost. Now, the question here is to address the financial support to the entrepreneurial young minds. Now, this is where the incubation centers have come. All the young engineers must think in terms of, must come out of the phobia that we can't be entrepreneurs, must come out of the phobia that I have no financial background. These two phobias which are blocking the entrepreneurs, they must shun these two phobias and look out. There is a lot of help, Dr. Somanath sir has very vividly explained the emerging economy, the opportunities which are coming. It's a wonderful presentation which I've ever come across, because in the recent times after COVID, several people are making presentations. I've been watching, but then this one made by Dr. Somanath sir has been of a different kind. It has talked about the emerging scenario, really shown to the people that which is an opportunity, which is not an opportunity, which was an opportunity, which is not going to be an opportunity tomorrow, but you are getting new opportunities, and so on. This is a fascinating talk. Fortunately, we have had today from Dr. Somanath sir, and all of us must look at the opportunities which are emerging. I would suggest that the talk of both these luminaries, Dr. KPJ Reddy sir and Dr. Somanath sir, should be shared with the audience so that specific points can be taken by them. And these two gentlemen have already created so many entrepreneurs. I'm sure in the audience today, a lot of them are thinking about being an entrepreneur. Once Dr. Sojan Lal shares these presentations with the audience, I'm sure a lot of guys and girls would think about being an entrepreneur, because it is such an inspiring climate that you have created today in this platform. I'm sure a lot of them can. And tomorrow when Mr. George talks, when Professor George talks about it, the financial issue will be much more clearly addressed. There is nothing called a financial hurdle. There is nothing called a rural hurdle. It is a mind. It is the heart and mind. It is the venturing attitude. Tegimpu. In Telugu, we call it Tegimpu. Tegimpu means, let me just break out. Kya hoga? Kuch nahi hoga. Nothing will happen. Let me just jump in. This kind of an attitude, if you have, coupled with your knowledge, reading, hard work, and so on, I'm sure the financial thing will come in. I am financing so many entrepreneurs, small things in my own way. My friends, Mr. Pradeep Doble, Mr. Sanjay Singh in ITC, have been definitely supporting a lot of entrepreneurs. Any of the guys and girls who are stuck with financial issue, please voice your concern with us. I'm sure there'll be a way out, and there's no hurdle for any good idea to come out today. IITs, IIMs, other institutions, IISc Bangalore, and eminent people like Somanath sir and KPJ Reddy sir are only behind this today. They are giving their best. They're giving all out support to these things. I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs will be generated. These are my observations. I'm so grateful that I've been here, and I feel I'm enriched. Thanks to the great presenters. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Dr. Sojan.
Thank you, Dr. Venkat Bala, sir. And over to our team for asking any questions. I think they are having some questions. Grayson, please.
Thank you, sir. We'll begin our question answer section. So the following questions are to Dr. S. Somanath, sir. Sir, may I?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yes.
So the first question is, how
Yes,
is
go
it
ahead.
for the students of lesser known institutions to reach out to a person like you to show their ideas and get funding?
Let me tell you that there is no differentiation that we are making in at least in ISRO with regard to different institutions. Lesser known institutions, I think you don't be under such ideas. Of course, I'm sure those institutions are really guided by the curriculum that we have setting it, and I hope that the institution as well as teachers, they are inspiring enough to make you good engineers. If that is so, I am sure that you will be qualified enough to be calling yourself an engineer, and you will be fit to do the task that we are discussing today. So do not demean yourself first. Don't be under the impression that you are from a lower class of institution and you will have difficulty compared to other class of institutions which are elite. Let me tell you that none of us are really from such background. I think at least some of them us are not from such backgrounds. I studied in a school which is my local language school till my plus 10 10th standard. Went into engineering just by chance, that otherwise I would have ended up as a school teacher. It was just a chance that I went into engineering. And after engineering, I became a space in area. It's also just by chance. So it all happened because while we were students, we were committed and hardworking, and that was just enough for you to take you to the path that really happened at a later point of time. And I have not the story of me alone. I have stories of similar hundreds of such people. In fact, in ISRO, there are so many from similar backgrounds, from village backgrounds, who are doing fantastic work, leading engineers and scientists from such backgrounds, not having well educated in English, not having studied in great IITs. They come into ISRO and they become great scientists. It is possible. So first you remove such things. Then second point is, if you really want to help from ISRO, we don't make any differentiation with the type of colleges. There are proposals coming from so many institutions to us, and based on the merit and value of them, that we can take it up for joint development or even programs that we have for funding to develop such technologies and which are useful to space program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That is truly inspiring. The second question.
Just wait. Professor Bala wants to speak something. Yes.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. Bala, sir. Short.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sojan, Dr. Somanath, sir. The accessibility seems to be problem of the students. So I have a point to make, a submission to make, that people like KPJ Reddy sir and Somanath sir, is it possible to open a monkey bath, like a Prime Minister? He has a monkey bath where you can talk to your Prime Minister. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu used to have that. Many biggies do have that. So I was wondering whether 1 hour can be spared in a week, a Saturday or something, so that At that time, the chat box of Dr. Somanath or Dr. KPJ Reddy sir can be open. It is access to anybody from any part of the country or anywhere. And at that time, they can put queries, and your assistant can screen it and give it to you for any comments, and the assistant can answer them back in an hour, just 1 hour, because you are a busy people and you would not be able to spare them 1 hour. Maybe next week, another 1 hour, and so on. This 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour a week would serve two purposes, sir. One is a feeling that I have spoken to a great personality. That itself makes me an entrepreneur. The second, my doubts are genuinely clarified. I go to this person, that person around my college and things, everybody gives convenient answers. And I still have my own doubts as a student. So therefore, coming from a top person would be, it's like a definition of money from RBI. No one else can define money better than RBI. Similarly, the technical doubts can be best defined by gentlemen. So we may explore the possibility of having Mann Ki Baat. Mann Ki Baat means the word of the mind, chart of the mind. An hour every week for our students. We would be highly grateful to you, sir. Kindly examine this. May be possible, may not be possible, but our submission remains. Thank you very much.
You're also getting a lot of chat box saying that your idea is proposal is very good, welcome, like that. So I think maybe KPJ Reddy sir as well as Somanath sir can comment on this submission also, sir.
Somanath can.
Sir, no, for KPJ Reddy sir already told in his talk also that he is ready, willing to listen to you and then give you mentorship. So that is already offered, I think.
Yes.
So I can also definitely offer that to you. In what format we have to conduct, whether it is through some webinar or through mail or through phone calls, whatever route, I think there is no difficulty. It is our responsibility and job itself to do this. We understand that. Yes.
So as an outcome of this, we will do that as a regular routine in a whatever way. We will discuss outside and we will come back with that, sir.
Okay. I would request
a fantastic suggestion, and also I can see the chat box. People are also supporting too much, sir.
Now, the point I would like to make is the moment you put a timetable once, after a initial enthusiasm, it will dwindle down. Point I am trying to make is, in addition to that, I am available 24 hours if somebody has the capacity to be awake and ask me 24 hours. So emails are available, telephone numbers are available. In today's communication, it need not wait between 4 to 5 of Saturday. So I feel the fellow who needs an answer, he will go after the answer. That type of people should reach us. Otherwise, discuss and smart and all that thing, that's a waste of time. So I feel that I am open to that kind of thing. Sir, you knock my door or my telephone, I am up and awake and I will be answering to anybody. And more so if they come from a background like me. Like one thing I forgot to mention, I am the closest fellow for the backbenchers because I had 35% marks in PUC. Okay. So now my life goal is to locate the teacher who had such a mercy on me, gave grace marks and passed PUC. And not to reward him, I want to really ask him question, why did you ruin my life by passing me in this? Okay, such a background, you can make it, sir. You don't need anything. That enthusiasm in you, you will do it. So anytime anybody has such a thing, please reach us. Okay, reach me. I am available.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And I think over to Shivashankar, you raised your hand. You'd like to have some questions? Please unmute.
Basically, metallurgy.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I have one doubt. The graphene is most wonderful material, but the production cost is more high. So My thought is how to produce graphene in simplest way. Is there any possibilities?
Questions to whom?
Can you repeat the question again? In between there was a break.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would
Please address to whom? You tell.
answer.
Sir, graphene is the wonderful material, but the production cost is more high. How to avoid the production cost? Basically, the chemical of deposition are available, but the cost is high. How to reduce it, sir?
I think you need a research guide to do that thing to do that. I am not aware of that. Maybe I don't know if Somnath knows a cheaper way, way of producing it. I have no idea. Sorry.
Yes,
The process involved in producing graphene is definitely, as of today, it's very high. I'm sure a lot of research would have to be done, as sir has rightly mentioned.
Yes.
So we would have to address this, and immediately no answer can be given. But certainly it's a valid question, a question of the future promise. Definitely, you put your question in the chart and in the Mann Ki Baat. So definitely we will come back with some solution on this. Thank you, Mr.
Sir,
Shiv Shankar.
sir, another one question, sir. In our automotive industries, the driverless cars are available, but in our agriculture field, there is the no facilities like that.
Then that is your job, sir. Go and create those facilities, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir, but
This is what
yeah,
I am
yes, sir.
saying.
Yeah, yes, sir. Sir, may I speak in Tamil?
Yeah, I think I can grasp.
சொல்லுங்க
Yeah, yes,
சொல்லுங்க
sir.
பரவாயில்ல.
சார் இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு கிரவுண்ட் நட் இருக்கு சார். இந்த கிரவுண்ட் நட்டை வந்து நம்ம விதைக்கிறதுக்கு தேவையான ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் நம்மக்கிட்ட இருக்கு. பட் அதுக்கப்புறம் அதை வந்து ப்ராப்பராக பராமரிக்கிறதுக்கு தேவையான ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் நம்மக்கிட்ட இல்லை. அதோட மண்ணை வந்து சுற்றியும் அதை அணைக்கணும். அந்த ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸை வந்து நம்ம இப்போ ஒரு கேமரா ஐடென்டிஃபை ஆகுற மாதிரி ஒரு செட்டப்பை ஃபார்ம் பண்ணி, அந்த செட்டப்பில் வந்து நமக்கு தேவையான அந்த செடியை மட்டும் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணிட்டு, அதுக்கு நியரஸ்டாக இருக்கிற தேவையில்லாத மற்ற செடிகள் எல்லாம் அகற்ற மாதிரி ஒரு ப்ராசஸ், ஒரு செட்டப்பை கொண்டு வர முடியும்ல சார்?
பண்ணுங்க சார், நீங்கள் பண்ணணும் தான்.
அதான் சார், அதுக்கான ஒரு வழி வந்து எனக்கு தேவை சார்.
For research, agricultural automation. I think Shiv Shankar should work in that area.
Yes, that's what I am saying.
I think as all the previous speakers mentioned that there are the areas which you already identified. Now I think it's your duty to work on that, and possibly any support, like the people who are working who can help you, like that you can find out that. Basically that myself is also not an expert into the area which you asked the question. But keep the enthusiasm in you and try to work on that, and we will find somebody who can also help you. Okay. Anything Reddy sir would like to add to this?
No, actually, one thing somebody mentioned about money part of it. I would like to share my thoughts on this. Money doesn't drive entrepreneurship. Let me be honest on this, because I have friends. With one phone call, they can mobilize 10 crores or 100 crores, but they have never been entrepreneurs. So it is not the money which drives the entrepreneurship. It is the idea. Then the money will come and work on this. For example, when I switched, let us say, from a theoretician to experimentalist, nobody knew that I can do work on hypersonics. And whenever I went for funding, to whatever agencies in India, they laughed at me. They said, you don't even know what is aerodynamic drag or a lift. What are you talking about? So believe me, on that day, I took out my 14 years of PF savings and started building my lab today, which is a few hundred crores worth lab. So money is not the driver. It is your initiative. It's your enthusiasm to do it. So this is the message I would like to pass it on to the youngsters, especially from rural areas. If you have fire in you, there is always fuel around. Okay. develop that fire, sir. Fuel will come. Okay.
Okay, good. And over to our panel, our team for asking the next question, please. Thank you, Shivshankar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Question to Dr. Somanath, sir. Can you tell some national incubation centers where we can pitch our startup idea for funding?
I have already presented some of them. The National Incubation Center, there is nothing like that way, because incubation centers are linked to various institutions or various programs. Probably there is an incubation center in one of the colleges or maybe an institution. You have to look for them. I can't suggest one place that you can go and then start. For example, there are incubation centers at IIT Chennai. I know there is an incubation center at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. These two institutions which I am familiar with. There are many incubation centers associated with the colleges. Now, many of the colleges are starting similar programs with the support of industries. They are starting in all across this state and southern states, which I am going across. I am familiar with many of those incubation activities. So you please talk to your faculty who will be able to identify a similar incubation center where you have access. There is no point in going somewhere else far away and then talking to them. So what you need is a local mentorship based on your area of interest. So if there is a government support which is needed, please go through all those things. You simply Google it, you will be able to find out all what I mentioned about the Startup India initiative. You could just go through it. All connections and information which is needed is available. So I don't want to explain to you to go through that, because information is more available there than what I can convey to you.
Yeah, and in addition to that, again, tomorrow we have a speaker, Mr. Santosh Kurup sir, and day after tomorrow, Dr. Saji Gobinath sir is also there. And again, requesting the members to attend tomorrow and after tomorrow. These ideas, you'll get more ideas onto this also. Over to Grayson Joseph, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, list some of the agencies that support entrepreneurs financially and morally.
It is just answered now.
Go ahead with the next question. It is the same question.
Okay, sir. Over to Anupali.
Sir, next question is for Reddy, sir. May I?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so who is your role model and inspiration, and how was the family support?
That's interesting. My role model was my father, who was uneducated, and he never wore a shirt in his life. He was a Gandhian to the core in the village. And he was the one who taught, if you see the problem, don't beat around the bush, go head on. Okay. So he would say, finish the job, sir, then and there. If you can't solve, walk out. But if you can solve, solve it. But don't give theories about it. Don't write a story about it and all that thing. This is the one I role model for me. And for your information, this is not that I am saying that you follow me. I don't attend anybody's lecture in life. So many Nobel laureates come and give lectures, and there is so much data coming towards you. You are, after all, a human being. How much you can assimilate and follow. Therefore, the downside effect of listening to too many people is this. When I ask my student who comes, he's a brilliant PhD student, I ask him, let us do this. The first thing he will say, according to Feynman, this so-and-so theory, this will not work, sir. Or Rayleigh formula, it will not work, sir. I say, who is this Rayleigh? Who is this Feynman? I have not read them. Sir, you are a thinking person. There is a problem, you have to find a solution. So minimize your exposure to too many gurus, too many people talking. Then if you listen to many people talking, you say, oh, Vivekananda has said this, be a quotation. Then so and so Ramakrishna has done this, Einstein has said, sir, stop telling about others, tell about what you are saying. So to the youngsters, sir, don't give speeches. Just do your job. Therefore, I don't have a role model for me because I am a villager. I'll go the way I want to go. Keep this in mind. Okay, then you will become a original person. Otherwise, you are always a mediocre. Just we maintain within us. So again, I say for me, inspiration is my father. And what is the other question you mentioned?
How was the family support?
Family support is one thing you must remember. Family is what you make. Let me say, I am one of the 8 brothers and 2 sisters. So I had to fight for a place to sleep in my house. That was the setup we had. Okay. From there, I had to take care of, I was middle of the family in the hierarchy wise. So my job was, because I was a little different thinker, I had to protect my family. So all along, it is not the family support. I had to support the family and mold them to what I wanted. This is the point you must remember. Sir, you chisel out, you get a stone. Out of that, what statue you make is your ability. So therefore, any support if you want from family, first support the family, mold them the way you want, then expect that it will happen. My wife is a big professional in a public sector company. My daughter is a MBA, my son-in-law is PhD. All of them we think alike because the support is built into them. You chisel them out. So to the youngsters, don't expect that my father should have been like this, my mother should have been like this. So build this family so that it becomes your support. So it is the other way around. You should ask, how much is your support to the family? So that is the way I did, and I succeeded to a large extent. This extended, I have, cooled off warring people. I have done everything so that even I have stopped the quarrels. I have done all kinds of things because of this reversing of the process. Today I can walk into a village, so peaceful people are. So hundreds, thousands of people have changed their way of looking at things. So therefore, look for you as the spirit. Last point I would like to tell, you should be like a oasis. In the oasis, water is always given. Oasis will never take the water from outside. People can bring in buckets, take the water out, and don't ever say they stole my water. You are the source. So keep this thing in mind. Then you will become President of India. You can become a leader. You can become Guru. Anything you want, you can become. This is what I lived. And there is no role. In fact, I wanted to be a cinema director. Believe me, after MSc, I went and became an assistant director of a movie. So anything I felt I wanted to do, I have done it. I wanted to build a hotel. I went and built something. Today, I want to build companies. I have 4 or 5, I think 6 companies running right now. So anything you want to do, you do it because you consider you are the source. This is what I want to send a message. Don't look for the external support. You are a complete the human being with all the energies. I was telling to one student in the village, he said, I am so poor, I cannot afford doing it. So I said, stand up, man. I said, you have 2 eyes. To simulate one eye using current day technology, it takes 40,000 crore rupees. And you have 2 eyes. You are already rich by 80,000 crore rupees. Who said you are poor? This is what we must realize and invoke the strength you have inside, especially youth. Please don't cry that my father is poor, my mother is poor, I am from a poor family. That's a pathetic. Don't do it. Okay, then you don't need role models.
Okay,
so
very
I will leave
good,
it
sir.
at
Very
that.
good real life example, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, really good, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question is again to Reddy, sir. May I?
Yeah.
Okay. In our India, the engineers are not well skilled in their profession. They are not getting skilled work in the theory classes. If we are not skilled workers, we can't explore our field. What you can suggest, a tip to raise our skills?
Again, I say you are already shifting the responsibility to your teachers, saying that you are blaming them. I say now that you have recognized the problem, you are smart enough to say that, let me solve this problem. Stop saying that I became this because of so and so. Sir, I was also taught by teachers. who taught hundreds of my classmates. None of them became what I became. So it is what you do with what you get. So keep this thing in mind, make it you-centric, then everything will fall in place, sir. The equation what he tells, which the teacher may not realize its importance, but you will be able to realize that. So therefore, don't put blame anywhere. So switch this way, then you will see everywhere there is a opportunity. Everywhere, sir, I go, I look at the mango growing. I said, I will look at it. I see drought in my village. I say, what the hell is going on? Now I am working on a technology where I want to do buckets, bucket water agriculture. I am developing aeroponics using nano mist, generating nanoparticles of water. From that, you feed the roots itself. Don't let the plant see the soil at all. Then in a 1 acre land, I can cultivate in 2 buckets of water. So these technological invents, sir, why are we complaining about it? Do this. So switch your mindset from expecting outside to internalize. I again say it.
Okay. Next question is, what to do if someone has an idea but isn't able to make it as a product?
Somanath can answer that.
Okay. No, I just want to tell you before that, my personal experience, before I answer that question, there was also a question related to the earlier ones, who are your role models. So I want to talk about my father, who was my role model during my student times. He was a Hindi teacher, school teacher, but his passion was electronics. So he used to get all the valves and components and solder and make electronic devices, radios and things like that. So even when I was a school student, I was so much interested in soldering and making electronic circuits. So by the time I was in college +2, I was already knowing many of the electronic circuits.
Wow.
But it is not like that. So he was a good carpenter. He had all the tools. He will build masonry walls. He will do all sort of work. So in fact, when I became an engineering student, I am a skilled worker. So I can do plumbing, I can do electrification. In fact, my house's plumbing work was done by myself and my father. No other employee, nobody else.
You are a blessed one, Somanath.
Even today, I can do all this type of work, and I am a really skilled technician. When I am the director of VSSC, I can assemble rockets myself with my hand. In fact, when I work, I can do it very well, as much as they are. So, so this is a interest that you have to develop in developing skills other than that you call theoretical skills, as Dr. Reddy said. So some of the qualities that you need to develop for converting ideas to product is the ability to understand what are the routes to convert idea to product. For example, if it is only a software idea, you need to know coding. Of course, without that knowledge of coding, you can develop a software idea into a product. If you want to make an prototype or something through metal or plastic or anything, you need to know the manufacturing process. You should understand how the production takes place in industry. Many of the engineers do not even see in good machines where things are happening today. So please go and learn skills which you want to learn. Without those skills, you can't convert ideas to products. Otherwise, you have to hire somebody who will listen to your ideas and make a product out of it. And it may not look like what you want really at the end. So because of that experience, I know I am a very good designer of rocket parts. You see, the moment I started joining ISRO, I will put sheets on my table. I'll draw left and right the sketches of what I want and give to my assistants. You go and convert it into detailed drawings and produce. So by the time the PSLE was flying, I would have designed thousands of parts in the rocket, simply by sitting there and simply drawing like a cartoonist, giving out drawings. So, and I know how machines work and what process they can make it. This knowledge helped me to design it properly, so that second time they don't have to iterate it. So this skill later also helped. Even today, it's helping me when somebody comes up with an idea in front of me, how to make it. I can tell them, though I am not a manufacturing specialist, I know how it is manufactured because I observe those machines, manufacturing machines, so closely and understand how they really make it. area. I have been presenting it also. Multidisciplinary knowledge is required to convert ideas to product. With one very narrow domain, I can tell you, you can't do it. For example, KPJ Reddy sir, he may know shock theory or shock waves, but to make the product out of that, he needs to know a little bit of production part of it, how it is really converted. Otherwise, somebody else will do it for him. He cannot do it himself. So learn the skills required to convert your ideas to product. Without that, you can't.
Really excellent, sir. And that's a really good story about you, sir. And Anu will take one more question from you, and then after that we'll go online from Dr. Naveen later on. One more
Sir,
question.
the questions are over.
Yeah, then Dr. Naveen, please. Yes, raise the hands. Dr. Naveen, please unmute. And Alok Rajan also, please unmute.
Hello.
Yeah, yes. Yes, Dr. Naveen, please.
Yeah, very good afternoon to Dr. KPS Reddy, sir. I'm really blessed to listen to your words, and I'm really honored that today I'm sitting on a platform where great laureates are talking to the young generation. Sir, as I'm also a professor in engineering college in Hyderabad, and I too worked with ABB, Asian Brown Breweries, for almost 9 years as a production manager. So today the new generation, sir, my only queries to Dr. KPS Reddy sir is, sir, see, focus is, I think, as much a personality trait as it is a skill. But focus does come naturally to some people, sir. But some people found it very difficult to achieve. So can you suggest to the new generation, sir, which environments and habits maximize one's focus, and what work they can do on refining that ability as quickly as possible, which is the need of the hour, sir?
Actually, there is nothing like, let me again say this. I think I may be repeating what I am saying. Sir, don't look external. Try to see, you have a job at hand, you have a challenge at hand, try to make it happen. So how to do that, those skills, over a period of time, they will develop. That's the mindset, and if you start the journey, then it will happen. Therefore, just keep doing, sir. Attempt, and attempt, it will happen. Therefore, I feel one should not say, let me wait for the rain to come. I'll say I will make the rain conditions, simulated or create them and get going with it. That attitude has to be developed. With that, all things will fall in place.
No, sir, I asked this query because I have been difficult to handle sometimes the focusing of the generation to a particular attitudes. Because last year we represented our organization at national level, and I'm very happy and proud to say that my 4 students of third year, they are already into the startup for self-agriculture assistance system. So we have been now developing that in our lab itself. But to find such type of caliber and make them to understand the future growth of the country and their ability to help the country come out of that, all those scenarios which we are facing right now, that is what I was finding difficult, because you said that keep observing. So that is always I am stressing on. You keep observing your surroundings, try to find out the solution. But sometimes I find it very difficult to grasp all those students who are really focusing on to such type of things, sir. That is what by...
No. Therefore, again, you asked me because I have put in about 50 years of work in the teaching and handling the children. So as a teacher, you develop an instinct to see the diamond from the rock. In a class, remember, world is not made uniformly. So in a class, if you will be lucky if you have 1 or 2 people who match this, who meet these conditions. So therefore, don't expect to convert 100 of them into this way. What you need to do is develop your instincts and your antennas such a way you can point, pick them up. then focus on them and try to do. Because of them taking interest, another 2 to 3% students who are at the sitting on the fence will get converted. Your goal is to identify and empower them. So therefore, I think it is your instinct which should, and it will be very frustrating. Many times your decisions fail and they don't live up to what you expect them, but don't give up. This is what I feel as a teacher. You can
Okay,
do.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
And over to John PB, who's raised the hands, please. John PB.
Sir, my question is, how can we take an internship in ISRO? Well, is there any way to take internship in?
Is it to me? Then I will answer.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it is for you.
Yeah, we are giving a lot of internships. If you are in BTech, you can come and then take internship along with your friends. So you simply apply, download a form for internship from ISRO or VSSC website, fill it up, and then to the principal, forward it to us. That's all. So based on your because we get so much of applications, so we have put certain criteria for marks and things like that for allowing you. Then your area of interest, if it is well known, we will be able to find out some good guides to work with you and produce some results. So that's what we do during a very short time. And for master's problem, you can come for and stay with us for a long time. But for graduates, we don't really encourage, because graduate time, you can't learn anything within very short period. So we generally like you to be staying with us for at least 2 to 3 months, because less than that, it will be only facility visit, no internship. So, but for a master's time, you can spend maybe 6 months to 1 year and then develop some good outcome out of the whole process. So you are welcome if you are really interested. Thank you.
Good, sir. And next question to Ankit Misra, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, so my question is, like sir said, Reddy sir, that idea is important, but I believe that opportunity is the more key factor for driving any idea into incubation or making it reality. Sir, what are your comments on that?
Your mic is muted, Reddy sir. Your mic is muted, Dr. Reddy.
Yeah, in the meantime, can I answer that?
Yeah. Yes. Reddy, sir. Still mic is muted, sir. Please unmute.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now, what is the question about?
Sir, the question is about, like you said, the idea is the driving factor for any new innovation or creation.
Yes.
But I believe that opportunity is a bigger factor for that. Because
it is. I understand the way you are coming from, but remember, sir, there are 101 things which will make you dissuade you from going further. Don't theorize them and try to find answers to them. Just get on, head on, go in there. One small thing I narrate to the youngsters, this I learned as a child. You see, my village is 300 kilometers from Tirupati. Please remember this, Tirupati. And my teacher told me, look, there is that dog on the street. It is capable of running from here to Tirupati continuously and taking a darshan of Balaji and coming back by evening. That is his capability. Remember, you and me are like dogs. We have this capability. But when the dog starts the journey, on the way it will see a bone sitting in there. So it will divert its goal to get that bone and start chewing that bone. And it was so happy doing and enjoying, it forgets its goal that it is Tirupati. So this is what you and me are suffering. So therefore, don't lose track of your goal. Go at it. It will happen. then all the things will fall in line. I hope I have generalized your answer to
Yes,
your
sir.
question, but this should find solutions to all your questions.
Thank you, sir. And I will go to the last question from the audience. Akhil Raj Kumar, please. Then we'll go for the wind-up session and we'll exactly close at 1 o'clock. Akhil
Yeah,
Raj.
because I'm running out of my batteries.
Yeah, just Akhil Raj, your question. I think he's not coming back. I think we'll go around the final round from the panel members. I think over to Dr. Barla, sir, for your concluding remarks, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sav. It's been a wonderful day with wonderful people, both the speakers and as well as the audience, as well as the MBITS people. It's been a wonderful day, really. 3 points I wish to highlight. Number one is skill versus idea. If you have a powerful idea, everything else falls into that. You can augment the skill, you can buy the skills. Once Dhirubhai Ambani was asked in a annual general meeting, sir, you had never gone to IIT, you had never gone to IIM. How did you build such a great empire called Reliance Enterprise? Dhirubhai answered, I know how to use IIM. हमको इस्तेमाल करना कैसा है हमको मालूम है. So therefore, you do not have to worry that you have no skill. As Dr. Somanath sir said, you have a general understanding. You be a jack of all, master of none. You do not have to be a great scientist to be an entrepreneur. All entrepreneurs are not great scientists. You are a mediocre, you are a jack of all, master of none, but you have idea. Now let me tell you what is an idea. All the ideas which are accepted by the government or other institutions are the ideas which improve quality of life of people in the ultimate analysis. Which are the ideas which solve the social problems? If you look at Ola, for example, it is solving a problem of people's commutation. People's commutation problem is known to everybody for ages together as the urbanization started. But only one guy, he was able to say that, yes, I can aggregate drivers and customers, and he created a platform that became Ola. So similarly,
2 more minutes, sir. We need to wind up at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, you do not have to be a great academic, or you do not have to have great top marks in your class. No, if you have an eye for the society, look for problems around how it can improve the quality of life or solve a social problem, then funding, skill, everything comes to you. And one question was asked about where to go for mentoring. The immediate solution that I have is that visit IIM Bangalore website. IIM Bangalore have an incubation center where they have an open invitation to ideas. Submit your idea there. If your idea is good and meeting their criteria, like ISRO also have, they will call you and then they will give you all support, mentoring, leadership, financials will come, everything will come. These are the ideas that I have. Thank you, Dr. Saab, for the wonderful session, and I'm grateful. I've learned so much today. Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, Dr. Venkat Barlagari, sir. Thank you very much. And over to Dr. Somanath, sir, for your final concluding remarks. Then we'll come to Reddy, sir, closing remarks.
Well, thank you once again for giving the opportunity to say a few words more. I think my ideas has already been conveyed. What I wanted to convey is basically to look at the entrepreneurs' opportunities that is available to this country, in this country, and also the government schemes. Because there are quite large number of topics that are going to be covered in the next 2 days. So I advise all the participants to be listening to them, because the many of the questions which are asked today may find answers in the coming days. So please look forward for various ideas that are available, and also keep important point that it's not enough that you listen to all of this, you start acting, as already told by Reddy sir. So that is more important than listening and understanding all these lectures. You will turn out to be only lecturing engineer. So you have to convert your ideas into actions. So the more you do on a day-to-day basis, your route to entrepreneurship is going to become a reality. So all the best for an action-packed life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And it's really wonderful, sir. And over to Dr. KPJ Reddy, sir, for the closing remarks.
For the youngsters and the old people, I'll tell you, the right person to answer all these questions is watch Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna never dirtied his hands. All his schemes were done through people. So please follow Lord Krishna. Mahabharata, you watch carefully. And the people who are in the back benches, please nurture the front benches so that you can employ them as your employees. Please nurture the front benches. And this is what Dhirubhai Ambani is telling. Okay, always nurture the talent. You don't have to be talented. Okay, then you can win the world. So with these few remarks I have, and I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity and wish you all the best. And I hope the effect of this seminar or webinar should be seen in a year's time, where a kid comes and says, your talk made me to start this startup. Okay.
Thank you, sir. We hope that some other new entrepreneurs will come and your messages will enlighten the people. And you started from the kitchen with the mother-in-law, and your father, and you come to the villages, so to the IEDC, and you have done everywhere. So, and again, Somanath sir, you have made a wonderful session, and you started your schooling from a normal school. And like as you said, your father was a teacher, but you are skilled in other things. You had the opportunity. Likewise, I would also, Reddy sir also said, if you are an electrical engineer, you should at least start with connecting the fuse or some little work from the home. That's where we start doing that. And again, Venkat Barla sir, you really demonstrated various examples, and that's really life. And even the Ola example which you mentioned is a really, and ages together we had the problem, and only one guy who come forward. And the reality of the life with the Reddy sir also mentioned that any challenges which is coming, the natural problems, once you started working that's really going to be an amazing session. And we'll be more privileged and happy that couple of years later that somebody is coming and calling us and saying that that day we attended this program. That's really inspired us. And on behalf of this MBITS Engineering College and VSSC, ISRO Trivandrum and the Kerala Startup Mission, thank you very much for all the panel members, Dr. KPJ Reddy sir, Dr. Somanath sir, Venkat Barla sir, and also this Mr. CJ George, who could not join us on today, but tomorrow he'll be joining with us. And tomorrow we'll continue our program, and also our IEDC cell, Mr. Mahesh, KM and Jinder Matthew, and all our students, members, and all, they have worked very hard. And it's really amazing session. And as Reddy sir always wants to close the program exactly on time also, 1 o'clock, before that we should close. And thank you very much, and have a nice day. And tomorrow we'll meet on the time. And also for the participant, please keep us the feedback so that you'll get the certificate. Also, we'll let you know what is about our program also. And have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.